Robinson is currently being held at the Rockingham County Jail in Virginia after being arrested on November 23, 2021 for the murder of Elizabeth Redmond and Tanita Smith. While accused of killing 6 women, Robinson is only charged with the death of 2. I use present tense because this is an ongoing case. Robinson was indicted for murder in the first degree on September 12, 2022. I plan to follow this case until the end. Robinson's next court date is on October 31st, 2022. Funny how this horror will all play out on Halloween, and a horror show it is. This shit is truly fucked up, and my heart goes out to the women who were murdered and their families that are left behind. Families that now have to live without their mothers, sisters, and daughters, all taken away by a monster. I'm going to try to create a timeline for the deaths for you, so that you can truly see the monster that Anthony Eugene Robinson truly is. To do that, I'll have to start from the beginning. Please continue to listen and watch as I go on with this horror show. I'm that nerd girl D, and welcome to my channel.
Tanita Laura Smith, age 39, and 54-year-old Aileen Beth Redmond disappeared in Harrisonburg, Virginia this fall. Authorities say they were murdered. Their bodies found Thanksgiving week in a vacant lot, allegedly transported in a shopping cart. 130 miles away in Fairfax County, Virginia, officials found this shopping cart and 2 more bodies in a container. One of them believed to be 29-year-old Cheyenne Brown, who was 4 months pregnant. Authorities claim 35-year-old Anthony Robinson killed the women and that he's a serial killer. He's now in custody, but authorities fear there are more victims.
Our serial killer is called the shopping cart killer. He preys on the weak, he preys on the vulnerable, and he does unspeakable things.
Let's get into the story by starting with the first victims. Elizabeth Redmond was found alongside Tanita Smith in a field just behind the Howard Johnson Hotel in Harrisburg, Virginia, in a plastic storage container. First, let's talk about Aileen Elizabeth Redmond, who goes by Beth. Redmond was last seen with Eugene Robinson on October 24, 2021. This is the last time that anyone will see Beth alive again. The only witness to Beth's last living moments was the security camera at the Howard Johnson Hotel. On October 24, the hotel camera captured Redmond entering room 336 with Robinson. There is no video of her leaving alive. What the video footage does show is Eugene Robinson wheeling a shopping cart to his hotel room at approximately 6 p.m., and then re-emerging at 4 a.m. the next day pushing the same shopping cart, except the cart was not empty. The cart appeared to contain what looked like a human body wrapped in a white bedsheet and a gold comforter. Robinson dragged the cart to a wooded area behind the hotel and disposed of the body. Also on the footage, Robinson can be seen disposing of a pair of sneakers and clothes. The police believe these items belonged to Redmond. Her body was found on November 23, 2021. Just 1 month after she went missing. She leaves behind 2 daughters and 4 grandchildren. Here is what one of her daughters had to say.
Just who she was. She still had a lot of life left in her.
A family in mourning after the loss of their mother, grandmother, daughter, and sister, 54-year-old Aileen Elizabeth Redmond, also known as Beth. 8 News spoke with her daughter, Jessica May.
I'll never be able to smell her again. I'll never be able to hear her voice again. Like, it's the worst thing that anybody could ever go through. And it's terrible.
Redmond went missing out of Harrisonburg at the end of October. Authorities believe she was killed by Anthony Robinson of Washington, D.C., a.k.a. the shopping cart killer. He's behind bars in Rockingham County facing charges related to the deaths of Beth Redmond and 39-year-old Tanita Laura Smith.
Right before the holidays and just knowing that I'll never speak to my mom again, it's just a feeling that I just can't even describe. I don't understand how anybody can take somebody's life.
Police say their bodies were found here in an empty lot in Harrisonburg, though authorities believe they were killed at different times. Then, last week, Fairfax police were called to a wooded area near the Moon Inn Hotel in Alexandria, where they found this shopping cart and alongside it, a container with human remains.
It makes me feel really sad because I know that there's other people out there that are going through the same thing.
To tie up Redmond's story, I must tell you what happened to Tanita Smith, because these 2 women were disposed of in the same location. Smith was seen on video entering into Robinson's room at the Howard Johnson Hotel on November 14, 2021. However, she was never seen re-emerging from the room alive ever again. What the cameras did pick up was Anthony Robinson wheeling a shopping cart to his hotel room and emerging sometime later with what appears to be Tanita Smith's body wrapped in a sheet. Tanita would not be seen again until her remains are found in a field near the Howard Johnson Hotel, just 15 feet away from Beth Redmond's body. She leaves behind 6 children. Now that we know what happened to these 2 women, let me tell you about the investigation that led to Robinson's arrest. This is where the story gets gruesome. I must issue this trigger warning: discussions of violence, assault, and death. Police found the bodies of both Elizabeth Redmond and Tanita Smith in a wooded field on Route 33 and Interstate 81, near the tree line on Linda Lane in Harrisburg, Virginia. If you look on the map, the Howard Johnson Hotel is located on Linda Lane right off Route 33. Robinson didn't travel far to dispose of the bodies. The investigators found a shopping cart was found in the parking lot of the hotel. Smith was last seen on November 14 in the 300 block of 10.5 Street Northeast in Charlottesville, before she was spotted at the Howard Johnson Hotel with Anthony Robinson. She would later be found in a storage container with her bra and top pulled up and nude from the waist down. Her hands and feet were bound with thick black yarn, and she had abrasions all over her body. Beth Redmond's body was found 15 feet away from Smith's in a container. However, her body was found in such an advanced state of decomposition that a DNA test had to be done to confirm her identity. Her body was completely nude with a bag on her head, a cord around her neck, and her hands were bound. Video footage from the Howard Johnson Hotel shows Anthony Robinson throwing away Beth Redmond's clothing and a pair of sneakers, so her being found nude makes sense. When the police found the bodies, they were initially looking for Tanita Smith. This case was initially a missing persons case. Detective Brooke Wetherell testified to the court at Robinson's indictment hearing that she received a call from the Charlottesville Police Department informing her of Tanita Smith's disappearance on November 19, 2021. I'll get to the indictment later. Robinson was the last person to see both women alive. Phone data puts Tanita Smith's last location at the same Howard Johnson Hotel as Robinson. Also, Tanita's last call was made to Robinson. On November 21, 2021, the Harrisburg police questioned Anthony Robinson about the disappearances of Rodman and Smith. Robinson admitted to meeting the women on dating apps, and that they met up in his room. He denied killing the women and said that they overdosed. His accounts of the events differ from what the evidence shows. He said that the women took a white pill and OD'd when he was sleeping. He awoke to find the women dead next to him and panicked. He then disposed of the bodies because he was scared.
Hold up. The story Robinson has woven together seems a bit far-fetched to me. Let's say this was a BDSM situation gone wrong. That does not explain the bag over her head. The cord around her neck could have been the 2 engaging in autoerotic asphyxiation, but why the bag on her head? Actor David Carradine died from autoerotic asphyxiation in Thailand. I'm not kink shaming. I'm just saying people do it, and accidents do happen. However, her hands were tied together, and the bag. This crime is looking sadomasochistic. A sadomasochistic is someone who derives pleasure from inflicting pain or humiliation onto others. Digital data has been mentioned a lot in this case. Now let me explain what that is. When the police refer to digital data, they are talking about cell phone records, GPS location, security cameras, and all other trackable sources. Digital data links Robinson to the murders. Cell phone records indicate that Robinson was in contact with the women days before they went missing. Tanita Smith's cell phone SIM card showed that she was near the Howard Johnson's hotel. Investigators can find GPS locations by pinging cell towers. The towers do not give an exact location, but they give a general location within 1 to 2 miles. Urban areas with large numbers of cell towers can give precision locations of 300 feet Location precision depends on how many towers a town has and the type of software used. So in this case, the closest tower was near the Howard Johnson Hotel. There were also witness accounts to place Redmond at the Howard Johnson Hotel. Friends and family who spoke to Redmond on the day that she died confirmed in a police interview that she told them that she was staying at the Howard Johnson Hotel. It is not known if the family knew that she was meeting with Robinson at the hotel, but video footage from the hotel security cameras show that she was with him. Robinson was arrested on November 23rd. At the indictment hearing, the prosecution presented video evidence from a local Walmart of Robinson buying thick black yarn. The yarn matched the same yarn that was tied to Tanita Smith's wrist and ankle. Detective Fortherworth described the crime scene, and it was like a horror movie. Blood was found on the bed, along with blood on Tanita's phone and ID. Blood was all over the room. It was a bloodbath. Here's what I'm confused about. Tanita went missing on November 14th, and Robinson was questioned on the 21st. Hasn't anyone been in that room before? Did Robinson leave a do not disturb sign on at all times? No one smelled decomposing blood, heard anyone screaming, nor did housekeeping come to clean the room. This is very, very odd. Tanita may have been dead for nearly a week and no one at the hotel noticed, not even the staff. No one went into the room until the police did. If the police thought that the room looked like a crime scene, well, of course it was a crime scene. It looked like a horror movie. And if it was that much blood, why didn't a smell arise? I don't get it. How can someone be murdered in a room and no one notices a damn thing? You know, it kind of pisses me off that people can go and be killed and no one pays attention. The medical examiner found meth in Beth Redmond's system, but the medical examiner doesn't believe that would caused her death. So that rules out a possible overdose, as Robinson had claimed. However, due to the loss of tissue around her neck, because she had that cord on her neck, the medical examiner was not able to determine her exact cause of death. The medical examiner listed her cause of death as homicidal violence of an unidentified etiology, and the etiology just means the cause of death, like a cause of something, or maybe multiple causes. Upon searching Robinson's phone histories, investigators found over 12,000 porn URLs. Each URL is a link to an adult video. This man watched 12,000 videos. Like, what the fuck? Sadly, this is not over the course of his lifetime. He watched 12,000 videos in the span of 3 months. From the months of August to November. This data was presented to the judge as evidence that the killings were methodical and premeditated. Some of the videos were accessed directly after the women's death. What's worse is that some of the titles fit the description of the victims. Let's get this straight. He watched videos of adult actors that looked like his victims. I know that it's innocent until proven guilty, but he's looking mighty fucking guilty to me. Even Judge John Stanley Hart said that the evidence is circumstantial, but it's strong and pointed to a methodological plan to kill. Sorry, I have a list. All of this evidence is what led to Anthony Eugene Robinson's arrest. He's also known as the shopping cart killer, and I will keep calling him that. I'll be back for part 2. YouTube will only let me upload this in 15-minute increments, so I'll be back.